Hello, and welcome to another SEO free course with Josh Pachynski. Today we're doing how to get rich in 2025 with SEO, and I'll put my earbuds in case Anna wants to turn her mic on. Hello, Anna, how are you? Um,
Hello, Josh. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for joining. So, if you've never seen the show before, this is the best place on the YouTubes to find information about SEO. I've been doing it for a very long time. If you see the gray in my beard and the hair, I've been doing it since before Google was around, before Google was a twinkle in Larry Page's eye. 2025 has seen huge changes to SEO in terms of Google using AI to rank pages, and also we're using AI to rank pages as well. So it's going to be super exciting, and we're going to get rich. Are you ready to get rich? I should have a ka-ching sound that fires when I do this.
Of
Ka-ching.
course.
Yeah,
Of course.
excellent. Good. Then you're in the right place, Anna, and everybody else listening and watching. Before I go too far, I just want to make sure I'm broadcasting to YouTube correctly. So let me just go here. And yes, I am broadcasting to YouTube. Perfect. So if anyone has any questions on the YouTube, when you all filter in there, by all means, ask them on the right-hand side. And Anna as well, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them on the right-hand side. I'll get to them whenever I can. Or you can unmute yourself and talk. It's probably boring hearing me talk the whole time, so having someone else talk is probably a nice thing for everybody. So I appreciate that. So let's get to it. Top ways of getting rich in 2025 SEO. What are they? Well, I've got good news. The prospects of us getting rich in 2025 SEO is greatly increased. It's kind of an interesting scenario. So ChatGPT came out a few years ago, and let me paint the picture for you. Let me take us all on a story. ChatGPT came out a few years ago, and Google, the technology on the back of the technology that Google created, which is a transformer or a large language model. The T in GPT stands for transformer. It's a generative pre-trained transformer. And Google made this technology many years earlier when Blake Lemoine thought one of their large language models, Lambda, I believe it was, had become sentient. And so Google is using large language models now to analyze content, analyze pages. They have multiple spam algorithms. They have multiple quality algorithms. These are real things. These are real things, Fox Mulder. There's my X-Files hoodie, sorry. I'm just trying to, the more stuff I could put in the background, until it's like Furbies and things. And I'm like this little guy in the middle. That's what it's going to be. Um, and why is that important? That's important because the old ways of doing SEO, which kind of worked for too many decades of kind of doing a lazy SEO, kind of doing spammy SEO, kind of just producing content on a blog. And it doesn't have to, whether it has the word blog on it, doesn't really matter. It's the same kind of articles, kind of lazy articles, lazy blogs, those kinds of things that SEOs like me have been pointing out for quite some time are going to get you eventually. And Google did increasingly over the last 20 years create more, well, 15 years really, create more and more algorithms to try to nab them. Like Panda came out in 2011, if I recall correctly. Excuse me, that was definitely a traffic, one of the versions of Panda was definitely to watch traffic and where people click and where they go and what they do. And in these ways, Google is able to track whether you have high quality content or not. And what do they mean by high quality? It's high quality in the sense that their users converted. They liked it. They didn't bounce back to Google. They didn't click another result. These are terrible ranking signals as we've tested them. In fact, they are the most powerful ranking signals that exist. These traffic ranking signals are far more powerful than even on page, quite frankly, and far, far more powerful than any off page signal. Although the bulk of your off page signals can easily make the difference in how you rank for sure. Don't get me wrong. And on page signals too, you can't rank on traffic alone. But if people are searching in whatever it is, Josh's Crazy Red Apples, and they get a page that doesn't even say Josh's Crazy Red Apples on it anywhere, but they know because people have searched that and they click it, that loop alone is the most powerful ranking factor that there is. And you might be like, wow, why are you leaking this huge ranking factor, Josh? Don't you usually keep the ranking factor secret because you've spent 10 years and hundreds of hours and tens of thousands of dollars testing the algorithms And the answer is yes, I normally do. But that one is so hard to black at anymore. It's so hard to fake traffic that I don't mind saying it. And I also don't mind saying, don't try it. They've got micro workers on lock. They've got all the applications on lock. For years, I've never seen an app that can do it. And we used to do this routinely. The only time it works is maybe in like a 5 or 10 searches per month niche, like a very small local niche, for example, where you only need 10 or 20 or 30 a bank of cell phones, kind of an idea with rotating IP addresses that Google has never seen before. Because Google owns huge portions of the internet backbone. Every single major modern browser is based on Chromium, which filters all of its signals back to Google. They can and do very easily find fake traffic. And so it's so hard for us to black at that. We don't bother doing it anymore. We just make white hat content. We do content marketing with SEO Copilot and build lots of content at a very high quality level that is genuinely useful on the internet and genuinely useful for people. And Google notices that when people go there and they don't search that anymore. They're informed. They got the information they wanted. They went down the conversion paths. In this new AIO world, AI overview world, you need to be increasingly clever to make sure the traffic comes to you. You need a widget of some kind, a calculator of some kind of app, something that they can't steal, something that they can't just put on the front of Google. And all these niches are, many of these niches, most of these niches that we used to operate in that people think are gone and the AI overview is taken. I'm here to tell you good news. If you're a little bit more clever, you can actually recapture those back. But that's I'm baiting the lead a bit. I'm going to get to that in a little bit later. So actually, it's a good thing. So the result of this is that I literally had someone in a meeting the other day, and she didn't know I did SEO. I was on her podcast for talking about AI, and I was talking to her about SEO, and she said, hold on a second. I thought we didn't have to do any SEO anymore. She said, literally, and I quote, I thought we did not have to do SEO anymore, end quote. And I was a little taken aback. I knew when you check Google Trends, the amount of people searching SEO has skyrocketed tremendously. I don't know if anyone has seen that in my previous course. I've shown that numerous times.
I do, Josh. I know you from your show.
Great, perfect. Welcome a long-time viewer, Anna. And so it's interesting. There's far more interest in SEO than there's ever been in the history of SEO, or as far back as Google Trends goes, which is only 5 years. But you can see that line creeping up. So I can only imagine if you trend that line back 10 years, it was even lower. So no, it's really weird. It's ironic. There's never been so many people on the planet interested in SEO as there is right now. But also, it's never been so esoteric. I don't want to say difficult. It's not really difficult, but it's never been so esoteric. And I have to admit, 15 years ago, like they talk about barrier to entry in businesses of like, what kind of barrier to entry is there? What level of education do you need? What level of accreditation do you need to get into any particular vertical or industry? And I would say the barrier of entry for SEO 15 years ago was like about a grade 7 level education. You did not need to be that educated. You just needed to read the right Reddit post, rinse, repeat, and you could kind of rank like crazy. And so that was kind of what people think of the golden age of SEO, where it was super easy and Google was very permissive. And as long as you didn't do something super, super black hat that they noticed, you pretty much got away with it. But that height has gone down and down and down and down of the easiness, of the forgivingness of SEO, of Google, of the dumbness, if you will, the lack of intelligence in their algorithms of being able to suss out organic signals of quality. And I mean that in the most general sense. I mean, like, you get links in this exact order. You make the page, you buy traffic, people gave them links, get social media, check mark. Google will therefore approve all those signals because you did it in the correct order, right? Or like they're better, their anti-SEO algorithms and their AIs, it's an agentic AI at this point, are good enough to know, they know the life cycles of organic companies that don't buy SEO, or at least they think they do. They're lied to by agencies. Google thinks the agencies don't lie to them. Of course they lie to them. So it blends. It's like 60% organic, 40% yes, they're doing SEO. They're fully and completely purchasing signals and making that happen. But at the end of the day, it was the same kind of process, right? You don't get links to a page before the page exists, typically. That's clearly an inorganic signal. Or you don't get links to a page that has on a blog that has zero traffic, that nobody watches and nobody cares about, that links to you with an exact match query keyword direct to the money page. Like, that is clearly a black hat. That's clearly a manipulation signal, and things like that along those lines of statistically how our SEOs have operated and what we've done. So it's gotten more challenging in that respect, that you can't just read a blog from 15 years ago. I'm afraid the information appears to be evergreen, but it's not. It's out of date, and it's going to hurt people doing the wrong SEO. But at the same time, it's harder to sign up clients, even though this is when SEO has never been more searched. It's harder to sign up clients. Right? Tell me if anyone listening right now has experienced this. It's harder to sign up clients. You get more clients saying to you, "I thought we didn't have to do SEO anymore." You have the zeitgeist out there of people saying SEO is dead. You can't do it anymore. Translation: they can't figure it out. They haven't been testing it as seriously as we have for the last 10 years. And I'm not just tooting my own horn. I mean, we have really seriously, at an academic level, tested SEO's Google's algorithms. I did a master's degree and I was doing a PhD in a science-related discipline, philosophy, interdisciplinary philosophy / psychology and neuroscience. So I know how to conduct science at some fairly professional level. And I guess that's or we lucked out. I guess that's the reason why we were able to suss out these algorithms. A little bit of luck and a lot of hard work. And we're able to kind of figure out what Google's doing. Plus, I embraced AI immediately. I had an academic account for GPT-3 before a private account, private demo, before the public even had access to that. And that's 2 years before it was even called ChatGPT, right? So I've been playing with the transformer as a psychologist, figuring out how it thinks, how it works, and I'm a very piss poor computer scientist, I will admit. Like, if you ask me to explain like the statistic, the mathematical models of how a transformer works, I'd be like, I don't know. It's an encoder decoder. That's all I know. It encodes the mathematical pattern of grammar and then decodes it to give you an output. That's all I know. That's the extent of my computer science. But as a psychologist and philosopher, I know I can pick ChatGPT out like that. If you give me 5 samples of writing, I could probably tell you which is AI and which was human written, because I know how to hear it. I know how they talk. I know how they think, right? And when you think about it, and this is an aside, and I'll get back to the SEO in a second, although it's relevant to SEO as well, these large language models, which are trained on multiple corpora. Corpora is the fancy Latin word of the day. It's plural for corpus. Corpora is plural for corpus. They're the crystallization of all human wisdom, right? Really, when you come down to it, statistically, whatever we all think the most, that's what they'll say. And then, of course, they put guardrails on that because sadly, the internet is could be highly racist and highly misogynistic, and they want to stop it from going down those rabbit holes of this is how people normally talk in this way. They devolve in these kinds of eventually someone is called a Nazi, and like this devolves in this very predictable path of human argumentation. Sadly. And so they put guardrails on it for sure, but basically it's just a crystallization of human wisdom. And so there's a book out there, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called The Wisdom of Crowds. That there's this thought in the academy, in Plato's academy. There's been this thought since 2,500 years that hoi polloi, which is Greek for the people, and it's meant as a pejorative. It's meant as like the masses, the dumb masses. The masses are dumb. You can't trust them for anything. And there was this book that came out. Actually, no. In a lot of human things, if you poll the crowd, you'll get very good answers. In a lot of human situations that all humans find themselves in, there's a richness of human wisdom. It's just in the specializations. Like you can't do a 10,000 person poll of how to do brain surgery. That's too specialized. You can't do a 10,000 person poll on how to win a law case. Too specialized, right? You can't do a 10,000 person poll how to do SEO. It's now become too specialized, and that's again the problem I'm talking about. But you can ask them, I was, my boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is, didn't call me last night and stayed out all night, and I got text of them kissing someone else. Do you think there's something going on there? If you poll 10,000 human beings, they're going to go, yeah, sorry, man, that's not good news. You might want to check in with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. It seems to me like you might have a relationship thing going on, and that's because that's the great equalizer of human wisdom and human experience across those boards, right? And that is all really interestingly wrapped in and crystallized into large language models. So you could ask it some questions and it could give you some good answers in that regard. Anyway, so I digress. So it's really, we're in a very interesting time in 2025. And again, I'm getting to how to get, trust me, I'm getting to how to get rich with money. I'm talking about money, not just wisdom, money, although wisdom is good
No
too.
problem. I love everything you're talking about because I think this is I'm learning so much from you, and so I'm grateful. Just
Thank,
talk everything you want to talk to me.
well, you don't want to give me carte blanche to just start talking because that could be dangerous. But I'll try to not have any more digressions. But I'm going to be talking about how to get rich with SEO and I'll give you practical tips for sure that will definitely increase your bottom lines in a couple of seconds. But we have to understand where we find ourselves first, and we find ourselves in this very interesting time in 2025, where if you check Google Trends, it's like twice or three times the amount of people searching for SEO and are interested in SEO. And I get lots of people like Anna here contacting me, talking to me, usually younger. They skew younger as well. But when you try to get someone like a business to sign up, I talk to agencies, they're like, yeah, it's really hard to get people to sign on the dotted line for SEO. They seem to think that it's impossible. That's because most of the major gurus who claim to know what they're talking for SEO, they hadn't updated their tactics, and so now Google has outsmarted them and made it so obfuscated with their anti-SEO AI agents that they're like, well, I put a keyword here and I raised me, and I did that for the same page, and it dropped me, and then all my pages dropped. I don't know what to do. I guess SEO is impossible. Yes, for you it is. For your that knowledge set, I'm afraid it is. I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean there isn't a knowledge set out there that doesn't understand how to do SEO. And I've got the good news. It's my group, not me personally. It's my group, the Wealth of Our Knowledge. It's called Underground SEO University, and anyone can join. Email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com. Mention the podcast, and if you bundle with SEO Copilot, I've got huge discounts for you. Like I've got discounts for you anyway if you don't bundle, but I've got huge discounts if you want to bundle with SEO Copilot as well. So it's a really weird time, but here's the good news, guys. Here's the good news of that. Yeah, it might be a little harder to sign up clients, and I'm going to get to that in a second because it's one of the easiest ways to make money in SEO. Learn SEO, do it as a service, get clients. That's like number one I'll be talking about in a second, which is maybe a little harder, but here's the good news. The good news is Google has done a good job at wiping out our competition. There are so few people doing SEO now, right? Even though it's never been searched for more, there's so few people doing it at a professional level, ready to take on clients, ready to make promises that they can rank you. As far as I know, SEOs these days don't even promise you page one. We used to promise you spot number one back in the day. Of course I can hit spot number one, easy, boom. That was 20, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Then they promised you page one after that, right? Yeah, I can get you somewhere between spot 1 and 10, easy, no problem. Now they don't even promise that anymore, Anna. It's amazing. Now I talk to SEOs, they promise we'll do your schema and we'll update your title tags. Like that's it. That's all they promise because they can't promise anything else. It's kind of sad. It's kind of depressing in many ways because it's such a lost opportunity. There's so many keywords. The more I look in keyword discovery in SEO Copilot, which is an AI agent, which is built with my 30 years experience to analyze the query space and find the SEO searches that are the easiest to rank for, that also make you the most money. Because that's the key of winning SEO, right? You need to rank not only for the keywords that make you the most amount of money, but that are the easiest to rank for. And the statistical combination of those two factors is how you guarantee success over months, right? How do you guarantee failure? So here's tip number 2, how to make money in 2025. Don't fail. How do you fail? You fail by failing to do sufficient keyword niche research before the project. That is the most important way to guarantee success in SEO or to guarantee failure in SEO. And let me tell you how it works. So let's say, and this happens all the time. Let's say you're doing in-house SEO, or you're doing consultant SEO, or client SEO, or agency SEO, or SEO for yourself. And you pull the client, or for yourself, the other side of your brain, and your brain says, I think we should try to rank for Jaguar parts, for example. And this is a real life example from a client of mine. I think we should rank for Jaguar parts. Josh, I know Jaguar parts. I've been doing this 30 years. Everybody just types in Jaguar parts. We need to rank for Jaguar parts. That's the only, quote unquote, that's the only query that will ever make us any money, end quote. And yeah, maybe that was true in 98 to 2008. And I checked and the stats said it was right. It was true. But then something happened, right? Where Jaguar car company is starting to sell car parts and all these other directly affiliated Jaguar companies are starting to sell car parts. And the AI is like, why am I going to rank some guy from California to sell car parts over the Jaguar car company or over these companies affiliated with Jaguar? Now, is it possible to beat them? Sure. But this is how you fail. If I tried to rank Jaguar parts in a situation where that keyword was very tough and hard to get, and I spend $2,000 a month at 24 months to get it, now he's 48 grand in before he even starts to see profit coming back. And now you see the problem. That's the problem, is that statistically, on the thousands of keywords we try to do, we do that too much. We do not do the research to find what is easy to rank for and makes the most money. That synergy between the two. And we might rank them when we try to rank them for keywords that, yeah, will make them money. Jaguar parts will make you money if you're ranking for that, I guarantee you. If you have Jaguar parts and you're ranking for that, you're going to make an F ton of money. However, it's going to cost you 50 grand to get there. So do you have the money and time to take up the spread is the question. And statistically, with the economy getting worse and people becoming more thrifty, the answer is no, right? So, and then times that by 1,000 for all the keywords you chose to do. If you don't do the research and you're like, I'm going to go for these juicy keywords that my brain tells me are going to make money, and they may not even, the worst part is they may not even make money anymore. The kids aren't searching Jaguar parts anymore. The kids are talking to their phone. Yeah, I want a Jaguar part. Please do this. They're doing some weird long tail query that you wouldn't dream up, you wouldn't think of. And so this all changes over time, right? So to make sure you're making the most amount of money, either for yourself as a DIY project or as a consultant or a client for somebody else, or an employee for somebody else, you have to do the keyword research to begin with to find what is making money these days, because it changes over time. And then the next thing you need to do, you're like, Josh, isn't that list enough? No, because yes, now at the very least, you've pointed your North Star towards the money, whereas where you want to be pointed towards, theoretically speaking. That means pound for pound, every SEO dollar you spend has a better chance of making money at some point. At some point. But again, it's the spread. Can you wait 2 years, or that's just a hypothetical example, but can you wait X amount of months or years spending Y amount of increased SEO dollars because it's harder to rank for? The answer is no. Statistically, the business, you also need to make sure you orient towards the synergy of the most money, but also the easiest to rank for. Those two need to connect. And you need to prioritize those keywords, those gem keywords, and that's exactly what Keyword Discovery and SEO Copilot does. And I'll just quickly show the screen so everyone knows what I'm talking about, not to make it a sales pitch, but you need to, I'll move that like that. Okay, perfect, there we go. You need to go in here in Keyword Discovery, and you need to run these keywords at whatever level for whatever area to find out how difficult it is, and then drill down, and you need to find the keywords that make the most money, but are also the easiest to rank for. Because you need to get in the flow of money faster, sooner, better, easier, quicker, right? You don't want to take 2 years to get into the flow of money. You want to take 2 days to get in the flow of money, right? And even if that money is like, oh, it only makes $32 a month, Josh, it's not, this is $26 a month. It's only 70 searches, sell your car online. It doesn't make anywhere near as much money as this one. Why don't I go for this one first and then go for this one later? It's because Google, there's 2 reasons. One, just statistically speaking, you need to place yourself for every single keyword, every single page you make has a keyword associated with it. And for every single page you make, a keyword you're trying to rank, you're going to make $5 a month, $10 a month, $100 a month when you average it out over the year, whatever it is, which is what my rough score does, right? It doesn't promise you $36 exactly every month, but this is a good comparison between this number and say this number, right? And so you need to start building on the easier keywords starting off first for those 2 reasons. One, You need to find the keywords in here that have like, oh, whoa, look, it's easy to rank for, but it also gives you 34 bucks a month. People are bidding on it. There's searches. There's money there because you need to reduce the spread. The he and she and they who win at SEO are those, and who get rich at SEO are those who have managed the spread. What is managing the spread? The spread is the time it takes and the money it takes to get into the positive profit zone of the number of like there's a river of money and you need to get into that river of money as fast as possible to support your endeavor, right? It's like a sailing ship. You can't wait 2 years floating around the ocean to finally find the breeze. You need to get into the breeze right away or you're not going anywhere. You're going to starve to death and die on your boat. Sorry, kind of an extreme example, but you get the idea. So statistically, every single page you make has to be oriented towards this goal. It has to be both the easiest keyword to rank for and ones that make money. And here's the second reason why, and it has to do how Google works. Here's how Google works. Google is, I use this metaphor of a stage manager. Google's like a stage manager, right? And they see you behind the stage and they pick you and put you in front of the stage to answer questions. When they like the cut of your jib, they like your costume, they like what you're saying, they like your whole thing, what you're doing, whatever it is, right? And they put you in front of the audience. And if the audience is like, man, we don't like him, they grab you and yank you behind the stage and you stay there for months. So you get one chance to make a first impression with Google. Your best page needs to be there the first time they index it. It matters. And you need to build on the easiest keywords. Because when you see easy or average in my tool, all that means is people have not SEO'd for this. You can click this bar and get a sense of why it's easy. Because look, the EMQ is not in any of, statistically, is not in any of the important places. And their page does not focus on it enough. And their site does not focus on it enough. And they may not have any brand awareness or any backlinks, AKA they don't know how to do SEO. And that takes me full circle to what I started with, is that I find this on more and more and more keywords. So that people don't know how to do SEO anymore. They don't bother doing SEO anymore because they think it's not possible. So they haven't bothered doing the simple nuts and bolts SEO, like putting a keyword in the right place or doing basic stuff like that. So it's never been harder to do SEO, but in the same way, it's never been easier because we have AI to help us. And it's never been better since like 2005. And like there was no one in SEO yet. It was just skyrocketing as an industry where you could make, millions of dollars doing it. Literally, you can make millions of dollars doing it as an agency. Because everyone else has been wiped out. They've all moved on to something else that looked easier. Because it was the SEO industry has always been plagued by get rich quick people. And I know that's ironic given that I said get rich to 2025, but it's going to take hard work though. But the SEO industry has sadly always been somehow connected to the get rich quick industry and the make money from home industry. And that always put a kind of a sleazy little bit of ness to it. And also the lie that it's easy to do and you can get rich quick. Well, you can get rich quick. You can get into the revenue stream super fast using my tool, and it is easy, but it is highly sophisticated, right? It's not, you can't just use the SEO suggestions from 15 years ago and expect that to work now. It's not going to work. So it's interesting. And I see a lot of people know that's true because that's why SEO is so popular now. People are like, oh, okay, I'm going to use AI to get into SEO, and it fell right off in Google Trends. Actually, let's look here. I want to see, where is it now in Google Trends? Last time I looked, Google Trends, search engine optimization, optimization. Why is it not giving it to me? Oh, there it is. The topic, not in Canada, worldwide, past 5 years. So you see, there's that huge boost I was talking about, which is more than twice as much as it was searched, right? But now it's come back down, but it's still higher. It's still way higher, which is fascinating. So I know this economy is pushing people to work from home, and I know they're finding on blogs how to make money quick doing SEO. But see, the reason they're failing, right? Because this is coming back down.
Just because the summer, I
Yeah, and
think.
that too. Yeah, because it's summer. People don't want to be working. That's quite possible, Anna. But yeah, so that's interesting. So getting rich quick in SEO the first thing I'm going to say is no matter what kind of SEO you're doing, you need to make sure you're doing keyword research. You need to get into the stream of money faster than everybody else. You need to do it in an order that Google will approve you, right? You need to rank for the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. But the low-hanging fruit doesn't mean an 8-word phrase that you made up that nobody searches so you can rank for it easily and point to it and say, hey, client, look, I'm great. Because that's not going to make anybody any money, right? You need to do the low-hanging fruit that also makes money so you get into the revenue stream faster statistically than everybody else. At the end of the day, it's a race. You got to remove the boat anchors from your ankles to catch up to the people who already started years before you, to build up your site, to get bigger, to get better SEO. And then because they have a bigger boat anchor, you're going faster. You will surpass them. And then you'll be way in front of them. They'll never be able to catch you. You'll have a 1,000-page site, a 10,000-page site. They're doing still 50% good tactics, 50% bad. Google will nab them. You will steal all their traffic. You will win in the end. And the kind of SEO I'm talking about isn't just here for a month or 2 months. I'm talking like the next foreseeable future, the next 4 or 5 years at least. And I would say 10 years, but because this business philosophy that I'm espousing is solid. I know it's solid. I just don't know exactly what Google's going to do with the AI overview and AI mode. And I don't know if ChatGPT is going to usurp any of their search power. But let me tell you that caveat right now as well. Everyone's like, oh, no one's using Google anymore. Everyone's using ChatGPT. That's totally, Anna's already shaking her head. She knows that's totally false, right? If you look at the statistics, Google is still by far, by margins of factors of 10, the de facto search engine everybody uses. Before ChatGPT, they had approximately 90% of the search share. Now it's only gone down to 89.6 something. So ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude have only taken up like 0.4% of their search, and Apple has only taken up like 0.4% of their search. That might change if and when Apple comes out with their own AI that searches the web and doesn't use Google. But this is way too early to tell what's going to happen. I'm old enough to remember the .com days. I was a teenager in the 90s. I'm old enough to remember that. And anyone else who's really old will understand what I'm saying. Or Google what happened in the .com days. You understand what I'm saying. We're before Firefox as a browser has even been made and released, right? That's how early we are in this AI war. Firefox that killer app hasn't been released, and then Internet Explorer hasn't been released yet, and then Yahoo is not even a twinkle in anyone's eye yet, and then Google, the final killer app that's going to win the AI war, hasn't even been thought of yet, right? We are still 5-10 years away from that. If the time it took in the .com days is any indication, it took 5 or 10 years for that 90 to 2000 is what it took for that whole maturation process to occur. I predict it will take 5 to 10 years a maturation process as well. And then you never know. Like I wouldn't count out TikTok. TikTok could suddenly have an AI that searches the web, and then everyone's using that because it already has captured the youth anyway. So I'm watching these dark horses. Like it may not be Google or Bing, or Google could buy TikTok. I'd be like, now it's Google again. Like Google has the money to buy anybody out they want. So they're just waiting. They put everything out open source and they wait to see who wins and does something good with it. And they're like, great, thanks, we'll buy you. It's ours, thanks. Boom, we'll buy you, thank you very much. And it will be Google that will win in the end, right? The same way Microsoft's trying to do that exactly right now with OpenAI and with ChatGPT. Okay, so that's number one. First way to get rich with SEO in 2025, do your keyword research. No matter what kind of SEO you're doing, local or global, from porn to not-for-profits, I've worked in every single niche that exists. You need to do your keyword research first and only build on the easiest keywords. Start from there. The easiest keywords that have the most amount of money, and even the ones that are $0, you need to build up a bigger site anyway than everybody else. Show Google you have a good, high-quality, human-level answer for that answers the question in the way they want it answered. Google, we have leaks from Google, I know for a fact, both from the API GitHub repo leak and from the multiple legal leaks that came out of the courts, the FTC court cases against them, that they extract every single query has an interpretation into its basic questions. Like if you search kitchen rental Granite Bay, some of the questions they extract is what is a kitchen rental in Granite Bay? How much does it cost? Who should I hire? Right? And they kind of move you along the sales process by automatically going from the original query, kitchen rental Granite Bay, to already giving you the information of how much it costs and who you should contact. They skip you along that process. So that's what is to be a high quality article and speak like an expert, is that you talk about the answers to these questions in an expert way, the way an expert with 30 years experience would answer. And they have what's called the mountaintop algorithm, which looks for that. And it checks the internet to see who everyone says is an expert on this, which you could think of backlinking in that sense, but also any off-page mention, any ratings and reviews of a tertiary third-party site will give them this kind of information. Who's an expert? Yelp says they have 500 reviews with 4.9 stars, and they say they do XYZ. I guess they're an expert in XYZ, at least according to Yelp they are, right? And then how do they answer the question? That's the truth, quote unquote, TM, Google's version of the truth. The consensus of the experts is the best truth they're going to get until Google becomes sentient and can tell truth from falsity on its own. And it will. This is the direction they will go, right? And that's the direction they need to go. It cannot make a mistake until it's sentient. A rock falling down a hill doesn't make a mistake. It falls the way that gravity says it's going to fall. You need a feedback loop. You need sentience or self-awareness to break that natural train, to give it some sense of free will, that it can break the chain it's supposed to have, and it can decide, oh, this is true, this is false. It doesn't matter if all the experts in this realm say that XYZ is true. Here's a scientific study proving it's false, and it just makes no sense. And the AI will start being the determinator of truth in a real, robust way, as we do when we're reading information and we make our own self-aware judgment call whether something is true or false. That's coming in 5 and 10 years too. And so whoever gets, and that's called AGI, right? But really it's making an AI self-aware is really how you make an AGI. You can't, nothing is generally human intelligent unless it becomes as self-aware as we are, right? A thermostat is to some level self-aware, in that when a certain Celsius or Fahrenheit hits a switch, the switch flips over and turns on the aircon. That is just a reaction mechanism. You need tertiary levels of reaction mechanism on infinite N levels of reactionary representation, on Y levels of infinite sensory inputs. And humans have about 3 levels and slightly more of those representations. However many senses we have, plus the interior senses of the different ways of thinking and things like that. So maybe 12 senses, maybe 5 levels of representation is a human level of self-awareness. Google has to approach that, and it doesn't have to sense like we do. It reads web pages. Its eyesight is reading web pages. Its taste is quality, is sentiment. You have to think of it like this, right? You have to think of like what senses is it going to have, not like ours. And how many times can it think about thinking about it? That's the level of self-awareness. It needs to approach our level, which is at least 3 and at least 12, for it to be able to do a job like us. And when it hits 1,000 levels of representation and 10,000 sensory inputs, now we're talking the singularity. Now we're talking an AGI that is far more observant than we are on far more levels of dimensions and aspects of reality, and can think about it faster to a much higher degree than we can. That's the singularity that people are talking about. How can you control it? Easily. It'll do what it's programmed to do. Just don't give it any emotions. Don't go to a prison and map the neurons of a psychopath and then try to make that an AI, and then you won't make an AI psychopath, right? It has no desires to live. It doesn't want to live. It doesn't care about living. It doesn't care about anything unless you make it care. And if you're going to make it care, then be careful what you make it care about, right? Is what I have to say. But anyway, but that's all very, very far off. So we need to make sure that our first way to get rich is to embrace AI. I would recommend getting SEO Copilot, selfless pitch, but whether you do with that or not, or go back and find my YouTube I put on, it has around 50,000 views of how to manually recreate the process I automated in AI. It'll take you 5 hours to do it manually, which you could do 5 minutes with AI, with SEO Copilot. But I used Excel spreadsheets and I used Google Ads, and I would bring it down and I would make flowcharts and things like that. You could do that for free too if you like, if you don't want to pay for SEO Copilot, even though it's only like, I can get it for you as cheap as like 12 bucks a month. And I'll say another thing. Number 2 of how to make money, awesome. Anna says she wants to use SEO Copilot. Well, then I've got a deal for you, Anna. Stay to the end. But
Yeah, I love it.
excellent, good. I'm glad to hear it. I do too. I mean, I use it as well. I couldn't do SEO without it. I don't know how people do. They really don't. That's the problem is you don't see
H
people.
href at ref ref that
Yeah,
is totally shit.
yeah. I agree. I agree. It's. I know everyone loves Hrefs, but it costs too much money and doesn't give you the actual information that you need, quite frankly. But and their difficulty AI is it doesn't even have an AI. Their difficulty is based off of links only. Last time I checked.
Yeah.
But the next thing about two how to get rich with SEO in 2025 is it takes money to make money. Here's something that a lot of people don't like to hear. So I apologize. I have to be the bringer of bad news. I have to be the bad guy. But here's the truth, and I'll only tell you the truth. Doing SEO is like doing any other kind of business, and every business needs seed cash. That's just the way it is. You can't have a flower shop if you can't pay the rent. You can't have a flower shop if you don't buy any flowers. You need seed money. Now, there are a whole bunch of blogs from 20 years ago of people lying saying you can do SEO for free. Totally and utterly false. Completely wrong. Even 15, 20 years ago, you had to buy links. Do you think you're going to rank without buying off-page signals? Statistically speaking, most of the time, no. Although my content marketing plan I told you in step one of doing the keyword research and building a huge site will minimize the amount of off-page signals you need, right? Pound for pound, where should you be spending your SEO dollar that gives you the best bang for your buck? By far, it's on your own site. By building your own site out, being huge, being bigly, having a bigly site, yeah, big as big as everyone else or bigger with human level quality, high quality human level answering the questions, helping people pages, and then think about the widgets and the apps you can have to help people that the AI can't steal and will just forward on to you, right? Moving forward in the future, that helps you reclaim some of that top informational queries at the top of the sales search funnel. But although there's plenty in the middle of the funnel for you to rank for that AI can't answer. And whenever they have to make a purchase, they have to come to you, right? They have to convert. So that's where you live usually. But anyway, so yeah, step two is sorry, you need some seed cash, right? And again, building up your own site pound for pound is the best place to spend your SEO dollar, but you're going to need SEO dollars. Now, usually that's sweat equity, but in this case, I suggest you have a tool to help you do it. Otherwise, you probably won't be fast enough to be competitive. If all you can pump out is 10 high quality articles a month, then that limits you to the teeniest niches, right? Like maybe roofing in Brandon, Manitoba, or maybe landscaping in some little town in Louisiana or something like that, where the only competition you have is a one-page website made in 1998 and somebody's Facebook page. Yes, then you can do it manually. Then you don't need AI. But if you want to compete anywhere else where you can start getting 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month, these big lucrative niches with competitors who've been trying to get that money since 2004 and have 10,000 blog posts that Google is still ranking for them. If you want to compete at that level, and you're going to have to get into most of the niches that make money, because I'm sorry, the race started 25 years ago. That's just the truth. The starter pistol for the internet started 25 years ago. You are late to the game. I can catch you up, but you need AI to do it. AI is like a motorcycle. You get on and like, brrr, you drive past everybody else who's running this race, this Boston Marathon with a bunch of anchors on their ankles. That's the only way to do it. And to do that, you need money. You're going to have money to get the right tool to do it, right? And you should spend that on, most of your money and time should be spent on your on page and on site, building that out as much as possible, because pound for pound, that's where you get the best return on your buck in terms of algorithmic weight of ranking signals. The algorithmic weight of ranking signals skews to the site. It used to skew to links. It doesn't anymore, and it hasn't for the last 2-3 years. It now skews to the site. So the best place to spend your money pound for pound and make more money with SEO by spending less is spending it on your site, spending it on building out your pages, researching them ahead of time, making sure they're good quality pages, having the AI spit out 10 pages a week, not a month, a week at least, if not 25 pages a week, right? Easily, you could do that with SEO Copilot. It takes about an hour a page. You could easily work 5 hours a day, do 5 pages a day, 25 pages a week. You will catch up and get into the stream that much faster, right? And you need to catch up and get into the stream that much faster because your competition is way over there. You need to get in that stream and then start catching up to them and then surpass them. But the point of number two was also you need seed cash to do this. I'm sorry. I know everyone told you in their blog from 15 years ago that SEO is free. It's not. They lied. They were wrong. I'm sorry. You've always needed money to do SEO. It was a lie then as much as it is now. And now even more so. You cannot get ahead unless it's a tiny little niche, again, like some local niche in some small town somewhere. If you want to compete in anything that makes any money, you're going to need some seed cash. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot, right? My minimum payment to hire me as a consultant is $500 a month, and even that is low. Like I shouldn't really even accept anything less than $1,000 or $2,000 a month. That's usually where I like to be. 3 to 5 grand is fine. Anything more than that, and I just don't like taking those clients on because they start to treat you like an employee and they want to call you every day and make you go to Zoom meetings. And I like my freedom, so I usually don't like. If I wanted to be the in-house SEO of a major company making 120 grand a year, I could be. I've had those jobs, passed on those jobs. I like working from my home office here, as you can obviously tell. I like having my own freedom. I like having my own life to do what I want. I hate the commute. The commute is ridiculous. I would rather work from home doing my own thing. But you need seed cash to do SEO, right? It's going to cost money to get the proxies, to get the linking, to get the off-page signals, to get the SEO tool to do this. Professionally speaking, what does it take to be a professional SEO in 2025? The knowledge of our underground SEO university, a tool that works like SEO Copilot plus more, and seed cash to pay for that knowledge and to pay for those tools. Under $500 for sure. I'm talking like you could probably get away spending $100 to $200 to rank in any niche. Rank in virtually any niche with like a little star asterisk TM, ignoring payday loans and herbal Viagra and those really high competitive niches, because that's when you get into like DDoS attacks and like illegal hacking and things like that. Because those niches literally make like 100 to a million a month. If you're ranking number one for payday loans, you can make 100 grand to a million a month. I know that for a fact. I've worked in those niches. If you're ranking number one for herbal Viagra or male enhancement pills, or I'm sorry, Hannah, or stuff like that, you can literally make 100 grand a month. I've known people who have done that. I was making 30 grand a month US on a skin cream, a facial skin cream for a few years, like 12, 13 years ago. It was great. It's a great ride, but that crests and falls, right? But anyway, did you have a question, Anna?
Yeah, I want to ask you something. When you say you have to spend money, of course I understand, but I want to understand, feel what are you talking about? You are talking about spending money in some assistance or in something like SEM. What are you talking about?
That's a great question, Anna. 2 gold stars for you. That's a very good question. You're absolutely right. So, okay, let's say you already have the knowledge base of underground SEO university and you've gone to university, you've learned SEO, you know how to do it. So you don't have to pay for that anymore. You maybe pay me $44 a month to stay in the Discord group. So when we find new things, you're updated right away. So there's that cost. Okay, what do you have to spend to actually do SEO? Okay, well, you might need some paid traffic. Your SEM, you're exactly right. Traffic is a ranking signal, right? And if you're not getting enough of it from building, we get around that by building the content marketing site up, and we have 1,000 pages that's starting to rank for all kinds of useful queries. And so we're terminating the search, we're getting a high quality score. It's the differentiation between 2 scores that Google calculates through their AIs. It's, I can't remember the name of it. I have it here. It is, and I've showed it on the show many times. People recognize it as soon as I say it. But this was leaked at a conference. It's an actual property from Google. I know this. Where is it? It is, yes, click age probability versus site quality. Those 2 scores. It's the difference between those 2 scores. And so you need money to get traffic. If we do content marketing to rank for tons of traffic, and so we get our traffic from Google, And because Google said the click age probability, the probability that we'll get a long click on this page, that is to say, someone who clicks in and is satisfied with the search, that's what click age probability means, uh, uh, is a certain percentage. That is when they'll try you, right? They have this round robin kind of trying pages out. You've seen the dance, the Google dance. That's what this is. It's the click age probability and the QDD and QDF. Query deserves diversity and query deserves freshness. So if you're fresher, it helps. By the way, if you have date fresh signals, that helps. But they'll round robin try you, which is why I said you need to go for the easiest keyword, because the chance of them pulling you back from behind the curtain into the front and you giving the right answer is increased, because no one else is giving any good answer, because they don't even say the word red apples anywhere on their page, right? At least you said the word red apples, and the AI is like, well, let me think. 5 pages don't mention red apples, which is what the humans search for, and this one page says red apples in their title. They say it in the URL, and they said it in the document a couple times. Who am I going to guess may have an answer about red apples? The page that says it, right? That's how SEO is never going to change. That's never going to change, right? Ever. Google's tried changing it. I've seen them try changing it, and they always change it back. They always change it back because they're like, we don't care, AI, if you think this other page is better. They don't say the word red apples anywhere. It's too esoteric. It's too not on the point. We need to make sure we're on the point to have user satisfaction. If you say red apples the right number of times in the right number of places and not go over, because there is over optimization too, then they're going to try you. It doesn't mean they're going to promise it to you and keep it for you. They're going to try you. Then you need to have the site quality score where, yeah, we predicted it would have a good long click. It did have a good long click. They're terminating the search. They're answering the question. They're doing us, Google, a favor. They want SEOs that are going to do them a favor by answering questions they don't have a good answer to yet, by making web pages that expertly answer those questions in a high quality EAT way, right? That's what EAT means. That's the promise with Google, right? So, so yeah, I forget why I got on that tangent. Why did I get on that tangent?
You was in the point two.
I remember. Yes. And so that's how we get our traffic. Thank you, Anna, very much. That's how we get our traffic, is that we answer the question and we get our traffic directly from Google. So we don't have to buy it. We don't have to go onto Pinterest and pay $50 a month for a Pinterest ad, or go onto Insta and wherever your demographic is going to be, right? Because you want the traffic you buy to also convert and make a purchase. So there's 2 purposes for buying traffic. One, to get you signals, so Google knows you're a real site, right? But also 2, for them to convert and make sales and not bounce back to Pinterest or Insta, because that's a bad signal. Google's like, well, obviously they suck because the traffic's bouncing back. That is the pound for pound, the most powerful ranking signal there is, right? Far more powerful than saying red apples in the title is someone searching red apples and clicking you and staying. In terms of pound for pound, I've tested this. In terms of how many spots it will move you up in a clean test, the traffic pops you up 8 spots. Putting in the title, maybe 4 spots, right? It's at least twice as powerful. Now that's changed over time. Google changes the dials of the scoring they give for each ranking algorithm, but that's basically what it is right now as far as I know. So, but there's certain ways you need to do it. Anyway, if you join Underground, if anyone wants and they join Underground SEO University, I go obviously into much more detail about how that works, and then much more strong tactics about step 1, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. That's awesome. That's awesome, Anna. There's supposed to be, oh yeah, there we go. That's awesome. Thumbs up. I give you a thumbs up. So that's where we get the traffic there. But I'm talking about costs. We're still talking about costs. The seed cash you need to start doing SEO. If you don't do your content marketing enough and you don't do that big enough, then you don't have the traffic from the organic traffic and you have to buy traffic. Your competitors might be so powerful, even doing the absolute best content marketing possible, you might still have to buy traffic because they have that much more traffic and that much more score that you're going to have to try to come up to their level. So yeah, there's SEM, there's paying for the tools, there's paying for the education if you don't already have it, and paying for the tools if you actually need to sleep anytime. If you don't need to sleep and you can work consistently 24 hours, by all means, don't use AI. There's also paying for your mistakes. That's a huge thing in SEO, because right now people are thinking, I know what I'll do. Okay, Josh, I bet you all your SEO Copilot is nothing than a single prompt in ChatGPT. And I bet you I'm smart enough to just magically figure out what it is and go to ChatGPT and make it produce the content for free. I bet you I can do that. Sorry, you can't. Wrong. One, I'm building AI agents, right? They are multiple AIs talking to each other, doing multiple agentic things. I am years ahead of the competition. I'm years ahead of where people think about this. It is not just a ChatGPT prompt. Two, you don't have my 30 years of experience with SEO, and you don't have my however long, 7 years experience with large language models, knowing how to talk to them and get back what you need to be high quality. Large language models, because they're based on the internet as their main corpora, they tend to the banal, right? They give good answers to relationship questions, like I said, because that's banal wisdom. That's not advanced highfalutin wisdom. That's duh. Everyone knows that. Have you ever tried to read a book written by ChatGPT? It is terrible. The writing it puts out is awful, terrible, at least in English. I don't know, Anna, if you know any
In
other
the
languages.
Spanish, it's also terrible.
I wouldn't be surprised. And that's because people are writing informally to the lowest common denominator online. And so that, like 99% of the time, is what you're going to get. The main statistical impetus of the encoding and decoding of the transformer is to skew in that direction. Now, you can say, write like Stephen King, and to the degree it's read like 2 Stephen King books that are put up online somewhere, somehow, it'd be like, sure. And it'll use that, it uses what's called the attention mechanism in a large language model, which is their fledgling attempt to make it self-aware, because it pays attention to a token string you gave it, STE, one token, PHEN, second token, KING, third token, whatever the F that is, it doesn't know, it's not sentient. It takes that token, it puts it up the top, and then it changes like imagine if you asked it, I want to know about BASS, and then it could go bass guitar, it'll go, this is what people normally say about bass guitar, blah, 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 blah. Or you mean bass fishing? Okay, that's what people usually say like this, blah, blah, blah. And that one token you give it, guitar or fishing, will change the text entirely. Now, it's not because it knows anything, you just statistically change the direction of the autocomplete, if that makes any sense. So you could say, write like Stephen King, write like the best SEO ever. It doesn't know what the best SEO ever is, one. Two, the best SEO ever is just idiots from 15 years ago who are not good writers anyway. They're not going to know anything about red apples, what you're trying to rank about, and ChatGPT cannot give you a good writing about it. One, that's only one of the keywords you need. There's 5 different keyword types you need to put in your page, and you need hundreds of different keywords and entities, thousands of them actually, across the entire page. It is far too complicated to teach on page as a manual thing. You need to use AI to do it properly. If I didn't need to use AI to do it, I wouldn't have spent tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars building this application and putting me in my grave earlier than it needs to be put, like all the stress I am taking of running this stupid company. Trust me, I wouldn't have done it. So we need it, right? At the university, we realized it takes about 20 hours to do proper on-page on a single page. This is not professionally feasible. We built SEO Copilot because of this reason. So yeah, so you're going to need money for all that. And if you try to human write it, you're going to pay for your mistakes because you're not fast enough. And you don't know enough about red apples. You're not an expert. Like I'm not an expert in breast cosmetic surgery. I'm not an expert in divorce lawyer. I'm not an expert in herbal Viagra. I'm not an expert in payday loans. I'm not an expert in any of these things. I have no business writing a page about any of this. And Google knows it. Google knows it. So I'm supposed to take 20 hours of research to figure out what this is and what the experts talk about it, and then spend another 20 hours doing the proper SEO on a page? It's just not possible. It's just not possible, right? This is the reality of what you're up against, everybody. It's just not possible. They lied to you 15 years ago. Get it out of your head. I'm telling you the truth now. So you're going to have to pay for your mistakes. If you get ChatGPT to write everything, it might work once, might work twice, not going to work a third time. They're going to nab you eventually. Statistically, the warning bells, the risk is like going ring, like going up like this. Like the line graph of risk to your business, it just went woof, like that. When you start putting ChatGPT content or Perplexity or Claude or Llama, any of those are even worse and even dumber, quite frankly, into your website. If I could have just used GPT to do it and saved myself hundreds of thousands of dollars and many gray hairs on my face, I would have effing done so. Trust me. So yeah, I'm sorry, guys. So the second way of how do you make money, Anna says, even Jasper is totally shit. And I'm sorry, I have to agree. all the writers that currently exist, I'm sorry, I know people don't like it when I make controversies, but Kyle Roof is a lovely human being. I wish him all the best in the world, but Pop sucks. Pop is a piece of crap. I'm sorry. Cora's not that great either. I love Ted Kubitis, and it's not great only because they just don't listen to me about how SEO science works. They're lovely human beings, and they're very good software engineers and developers and owners. If they listen to me how SEO works, then their tools would be great, and then I'd be using them, and again, didn't have to make my own. That would have saved me a lot of time, guys, if you just listen to me how SEO works. But again, I love Ted Kubitis. I wish him all the best in the world. I have a disagreement with him about how SEO works and how it can be tested, and that factors into Cora. And we can't use Cora for that reason. So there, Jasper sucks. They all suck. And quite frankly, I happen to know. I'm not talking Kyle Roof. I'm not talking Ted Kubitis. I used to know those guys, and I still believe that they care whether you rank or not. But all the other tools out there, they don't give two shits whether you rank or not, right? They just want to sell you an app for the 3 months you'll be on there, and then you'll try it in that big crest of people trying SEO, and you'll drop off. I want you to win for 5 years, and I'm giving you my email address here to complain if that doesn't happen, right? I have a closer, more symbiotic relationship, right? If all the knowledge I give out is utter shit, it wouldn't work. No one would be listening to me. No one would join Underground University. I wouldn't have it packed full of 100 students every year after year. I wouldn't have 20,000 people trying out SEO Copilot. I wouldn't have thousands of people sticking with it if it didn't work, right? And so that's good and bad. It's good for you. It's bad for me because I actually have to make sure what I'm saying is true, which takes a lot of testing and takes a lot of work, I assure you. And then when Google changes something, I'm like, oh shit, they changed something. And then I have to do so much testing. Like you ask the students in the group, like Josh goes crazy for 6 months doing testing because Google changed something. And I'm like, what did they change? Oh, fuck, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, sorry for the F-bomb. But so number 2 of how to make money in SEO is spend the least amount of money that you need to, but you're going to need to. And so this got on there, like people are like, Josh, I can't afford $12 a month. And I get it. Maybe you can't. But then the truth is, sorry, SEO is just not the business for you. If you don't have the seed cash to start the flower business, then you can't start a flower business. I'm sorry. If someone told you that life is fair, I hate to be the reality check. Life is not fair. Some of these businesses are on luck. You can't break in, right? It's not fair. So you're going to need some money to start, but for the lowest full on-page tool price for SEO Copilot is $24 a month. I'll give you a 50% coupon if you want to make it $12 a month. It's only $12 a month for that piece to do your on-page, and that you could just follow that for 6 months and build the biggest site possible and do what the system SEO Copilot tells you to do, and that could be enough for maybe 10% of niches that make maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a month. That might be enough, right, to rank you. Except for one little caveat to AIO, which I'm going to talk about, and I said I was going to talk about. But anyway, so how much money do you need, Anna asked, practically speaking, and what exactly does it go on? You might need to buy traffic. You might need to get a tool. You probably do. I can't imagine how you could do it for free unless you're in the tiniest niche, which doesn't matter anymore then. And probably in the bigger niches that make really good money, 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, you're probably going to need to have off-page signals as well, and those aren't free, right? It's at least your sweat equity of going to publish in some places, but you're probably going to need some professional help with a tool. And don't go just trying tools. Email me first before you do off-page signals, and I'll stop you from destroying your business. Email me first. Or you're going to need someone to do it, right? You have to do the buying links. So we're not going to buy any links. We're all white hat here. We're completely white hat AI. We're totally white hat here. There'll be no buying of links, right? But there's going to be a cost associated with that, right? But I mean, if you want to make 10 grand, do you think you can get 10 grand a month on just sweat equity? No, that doesn't work that way, right? You need education, you need tools, you need to set the business up, and you need to execute on the business.
I totally agree.
Sorry, Anna, go ahead.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in other languages, things get cheaper, right? It's easier to rank in other languages. If you're trying to rank Espanol, It might be cheaper to do it that way. It's cheaper. It's the spam signals are a little bit less aggressive, although they're pretty much multilingual now, so it's not as easy as it used to be. You used to be able to get away with anything in another language, not so anymore. But it can be a little bit easier unless people know what they're doing for SEO in some cases. She says in Argentina is cheap. Yeah. You might be, I know $12 US is a bigger cost usually in that regards, but the flip side is SEO in other languages can be easier. And it's a great way of extending the size of your site as well. You can have an English translation, a Spanish translation, you could do French, you could do German, you can do all those translations, open up to more customers possibly, and have a bigger footprint of site that's getting more page rank, internal juice, near seed juice, but also getting more traffic, getting more signals, bigger, more expensive, more real looking business, that kind of a thing. So that can help there as well. Number three, I'm only on number three. Oh my God, it's 11:15. Number three. So let me talk about the general ways you go making money in SEO. So the general ways you make money in SEO, which is probably what you thought I was going to say the whole time, which is nestled in the bigger message of how you actually make money in SEO. Okay, so this is how we make money in SEO. You can do consulting services, right? Pros and cons. Consulting. Well, you have to learn SEO well enough that someone else trusts you know what you're talking about, which isn't necessarily that much because people trick people all the time. But then you need to execute. When you get the contract, you need to actually do the SEO. You need to know how to manage their expectations. You need to, you have to do the SEO, the seed cash to do their SEO. They can pay you, standard price for a low level SEO is $500 a month. People are starting to do less because they're desperate and the economy's bad. If you have to go less, go less. $1,000, $2,000 a month is a pretty reasonable price for a business. Even $3 to $5 grand to 10 grand for a larger business. Agencies will charge like 10 to 20 to 30 grand a month, but they're producing like 1,000 pages of content, and that kind of a thing. When you get to that level, how do you find the customers? Usually the tried and true method way is you find some kind of discussion forum somewhere. You give free advice. You're useful, exactly like I'm doing right now. Give free advice. You guide them correctly. Then they contact you, and then you upsell, which is exactly what happened. Anna said she's going to email me, and then we're going to talk about going into undergrad at university. Not to be presumptive about what Anna's going to do. She's free to do whatever she wants. But that's generally how it works, right? You give something, it's reciprocity. You give out knowledge for free, a little bit of how to do it, generally how to do it, how it works, why it works, and then they come back to you for either to do services or to provide information. The coaching is very popular right now. Also, templates are also very popular right now. Another way you can make money in this kind of internet marketing way of thinking about it is you offer SEO templates, an ebook, a WordPress template, some kind of template like a checklist of how to do SEO. Now, the only problem with that, it will sell like hotcakes. The only problem with that is that there's no way to do a checklist SEO anymore. It's not that simple. You can't just give a rule of thumb and say, yeah, we'll put the keyword in the title tag and you will rank great. It doesn't work that way anymore. There's variances you need to calculate that only a computer could. There's over optimization, under optimization you need to calculate that sadly only a computer could. If it could just be a guideline, a rule of how to do SEO, I again wouldn't have had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building that stupid tool that's making me die before my time. So, it's a great SEO tool. It's been difficult to get it to work properly, but it is working properly now. Inshallah, it is working properly now. So hopefully it'll be working properly for a while.
I will call you if don't.
Oh
Put in
no.
phone and I will call you.
Oh great, I'm gonna get angry phone calls, but hopefully it'll keep working. It'll keep working. And we have a new programmer now, so it's actually been pretty solid. It will continue to be pretty solid, and we'll be extending out more features as well. The AI will get smarter and just do more and more SEO for you. Yes, so you can sell templates. The problem is it's kind of a shystery thing to do because it doesn't have a lot of value, the templates. But at the very least, you could tell them how to make a high quality article. You could do some templates. There's some templates you could do, and you could sell those all over the place, right? That could be done. Where? Everywhere. Go to Fiverr, go to Reddit, go to Quora, go to every SEO forum you could find, every Facebook group you could find, every Discord server channel you could find. Have a YouTube, have a Facebook, have an Instagram, have a TikTok. You would need to be broad and do it all. It'd be a lot of work to market yourself, to become an SEO consultant. Go around your local area, go to business lunches, business meetings. They exist in every major city around the world. Network with people, say, I'm doing SEO, I just started. I'd love to do your SEO for free. Hey, mom, your friend runs a florist shop, right? Can I do her SEO for free? And then when it works, I can use her as a testimonial, and she'll tell people that I'm great, kind of a deal. That's how you get started, right? You do it for family, you do it for friends, you find people online, go to Black Hat World, help people, and then you can't sell directly on any of these platforms. Most of these platforms, you have to just give help. They're very aggressive. And it says, I'm offering 2 months and ask for a percentage of sales. Sure, that's a great way to do it. That's a perfectly fine way to do it. On most of these platforms, you can't sell directly, but when you get them in private messages, you say, yeah, let me look at your site. I'll give you an audit for free and I'll check it out, or a page. You could do a page audit in SEO Copilot in 5 seconds. You just put it, it's a feature in SEO Copilot. You put in the URL, you put in the keyword, you press go, it gives you an audit. You download the PDF and give it to them. It took you 20 seconds. It took the AI 5 minutes. And you can even charge $40 for that. Sometimes I recommend, or even $14 for that. There's a psychological, we have a 4-part masterclass of how to sell in Underground SEO University based on scientific research. It's a master's level course, right? You don't need a master's degree to take it, but it will be like taking a master's degree when you do. I know I've written curriculum at the university level. I've taken a master's and I was doing a PhD before I quit because they're also stupid. Because I have autism and I have trouble communicating sometimes in some social scenarios. What was I saying? Audits, something. I'll take a sip and maybe it'll come back to me. Anna, do you recall what I was talking about there?
You was talking about how I will get rich with SEO.
Yes, indeed I was. I'll get back to talking about that. Thank you. Anna needs to be here every time to keep me on track. She'll be my muse. That'll be perfect. Yeah, so you can't sell directly on most of these platforms, and you have to give them something for free, and then be say full disclosure. I usually charge for this, but I'll do it for free, no problem. Then they know they're not going to be surprised. Like I sometimes they're surprised, like, oh snap, it's a sales pitch. Be like, well, yes, I do this for a living. Do you think I sit online and tell you how to do something so lucrative where you can make 100 grand a month for free? Do you think I'm going to do that? Like I don't know where these people get these ideas, but anyway. But then once you get them to email, then you could say, yeah, okay, if you want me to look at the whole site, I could do an audit for whatever it is, 144, 244, or something like that. And then that's how you start doing it. Then you start charging 400 for it, 500 for it, 1,000 for it. I used to charge $100 for an hour phone call. Then I was charging $500 for an hour phone call. Now I've charged up to $1,000 or $2,000 for an hour phone call, because that's how much worth there is, because I can literally save a business in an hour phone call, right? And so, and quite often, even if you can get them to pay $14 for the page audit and don't do it for free, then they've already crossed over the threshold subconsciously in their mind that you are valuable, and you cost X dollars, and it's worth paying it, and you're a valuable resource. The sooner you get them to cross over that psychologically, the quicker you'll be able to get, like ABC, always be closing, they say, the quicker you'll be closing and getting more money sooner, faster, better. You don't want to get in the loop where they just keep asking you for a question, you keep answering it, but they never sign up or buy anything. That happens a lot too. You could tell they're trying to get information out of you, and you're helping them, but you're like, I could do it. I can do an audit for you. Like, yeah, well, whatever, blah 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 blah. Okay, fine. Everybody knows what's going on there, and everyone knows what dance they're dancing. It's like, okay, fine. But you're always there, and they do come back, right? They do come back. I've had so many people come back and be like, you did an audit 5 years ago, do another one, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. So that's client work, really. That's consulting. That's client work. The next best way, I like it because you have less barriers to entry. You have more opportunity if you have hustle. You can work for yourself at home. You could do it on the beach. You could do it at Starbucks if you like. You can do it wherever you want. No commute. You don't have to sit in a subway for an hour. That's why I like it the best. Number 2, in-house, right? Find a place that will hire an SEO and pay you 45 grand to 120 grand a month Sorry, a year. Sorry, I didn't mean to get your hopes up. A year, and do it, and then you have a 9 to 5 job, and there's all kind of perks for that. Maybe you like a 9 to 5 job. Maybe you want to be social and interact with people. Maybe it's just 10 minutes down the road, and you like the restaurants beside you. You take your coffees there. I don't know. I've liked some of my in-house jobs. I've liked some being the in-house SEO in some cases. Well, a really good situation is if you could do both, by the way. If you can have an in-house job, but they leave you alone most of the time, they don't track your keyboard, they don't know what you're doing day in, day out. You take on clients and you do the in-house job. So you have the safety of the in-house job and you're building up your client base as well. Is the way you could do it. We have the kitty. Um, what's the kitty's name, if you don't mind me asking, Anna?
You like rock?
I do.
Well, you know Charlie Garcia from Argentina?
No, I don't. I don't.
I will ask you to listen to him, but
Sure, sure.
his name is Charlie from
Charlie.
Charlie Garcia.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Welcome, Charlie. Hopefully, you too can have cheeseburgers. You too can become an SEO. So I mean, there's pros and cons. But depending on where you are, the in-house job can be great. It could come with health benefits, right? It could come with a company car. It could come with all kinds of things. The downside is, again, it's a 9 to 5. It's the grind. It's boring. It could be soul crushing, especially if you are underutilized or not listened to, which can happen a lot. The CEO can think that he's God's gift to SEO and he'll tell you what you're going to rank for. That can be very stressful, especially when I just told you no SEO venture is going to succeed if you don't do keyword research to start. If the CEO walks down to your desk and says, we need to rank for red apples, make it happen by next week, that is a very tough situation because you check the keyword discovery and be like, oh, it's very, very tough and it makes no money. This is the worst keyword we should go for. It's going to be terrible for the company. Now you have the unenviable task of telling your boss that and making him look dumb. So that typically is not great. Oh, cool. I like that. I like that. Send me a link, and I'd actually like to hear that. So that's not great. That's not a good sign, right? So I don't know, it could be nice to work a 9 to 5 job. You could find friends there. Who knows? It could be great. But at the same time, you might get it's like any 9 to 5 job. If you like the people you work with and you like the job, it's great, other than the commute. If you don't like the people you work with or there's friction there, it could be hell. It could be terrible. So there's that. But it can be a more solid paycheck as long as you keep up certain thresholds. And working for 30 clients can be like having 30 bosses. But if you lose, one of the clients fires you, you still have 29 other jobs, so you're fine. So as long as you keep refreshing the jobs you used to have. Third way, which is not mutually exclusive from all the rest of these, is working for yourself. It's doing affiliate marketing, it's doing rank and rent, it's doing digital real estate. And all of these ways can be mixed and matched. What's affiliate marketing? Well, affiliate marketing is pretty simple. You can Google it. It's making web pages that do review style pages. Typically, you're reviewing products, services that you will sell from a distributor. An affiliate distributor gives you a commission. It gives you a cut of the sale. Amazon is the most popular one, but it's not really viable for anyone who lives in the West because their commissions are like 7 cents a sale. So if you can live off, like, you make 1,000 sales at 7 cents, if you could live off of whatever that is, $700, $70, whatever that is, if you can live off of that, great. Yes, $70. If you can live off that, great, but you probably can't. But if you are in other languages and then you're selling from Amazon, that might possibly work. Affiliate could make a ton of money though. Like, I was legit making 30 grand a month selling a skin cream for a while. It took me a while to get to #1, but I did. I was outranking the actual affiliate distributor for it. Here's the problem, is that about 13, 14 months in, they said, why are we paying this guy a cut? Why are they ranking #1? We should be ranking #1. So they fired me as an affiliate. They took the sales, but they refused to pay me for a couple months. And then I eventually noticed, I was like, hey, where's my money? And they're like, yeah, sorry, we can cancel the program anytime we want. And so then I sold the site. So digital real estate, right at that point. I could have maybe rented it out to other affiliates. I could have possibly done rank and rent there, but anyway. So that's the other problem with affiliate, however. You got to watch them. It can be sleazy. It can be sleazy, sleazy, sleazy. It can be very grifty. You got to make sure that they're above board, that they're going to treat their affiliates well. You have to do research. I was in-house SEO for the Cell Health affiliate niche, and the Cell Health affiliate company. That's not the official company name. That's what they're called front facing. And I know for a fact they love their affiliates. They always pay them out. They never mistreat the affiliates. They make most of their money on affiliates, right? So call Cell Health. Call up the affiliate manager of whatever program you want to work for. Become friends with them. Ask them what the new products are, what's hot, and be like, oh yeah, we're doing this new kind of herbal Viagra pill. It's called whatever, some kind of crazy name, and no one's trying to rank for it yet. You should start making pages for it, and so you get ahead of the game, right? And you can make a lot of money on those kinds of affiliate things. It's a full-time job. It's 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday, of worrying and seeing your rankings go up and down, and then worrying about people trying to hack your site, and all kind of shenanigans go on. The more money you make, the more shenanigans, but you can make bank. You can make a lot of money doing affiliate, and you can make it quickly. You can ramp quickly. Rank and rent is when you pick a niche, say in the legal area, real estate, some other kind of professional service, maybe plumber, maybe locksmith, maybe some things like that. So maybe contractors, general contractors, maybe landscaping, probably not. Something that makes a lot of money, requires professional service, and requires a sales cycle like real estate. And what you do is you do keyword research for that. You build a site. You build a site up. You're just building a site, right? And you do keyword research for that. You find what has the most money and probably would get them users who would convert. And then you have a contact form. You start saying, if you need real estate services, contact us. We'll put you in touch with our realtors. You collect 10 sales after you rank wherever, and then you cold call. So it involves cold calling. Then you go to page 2 to all the real estate agents or whoever it is, landscapers, whatever it is, on page 2 who wish they were getting traffic on page 1. You call them up and say, hey, I've got 10 leads. I do SEO. I know how to do SEO. I've got 10 leads. I'm going to give them to you for free. If you can close them, great, because I don't do real estate. I can't sell these people any houses. I'll give them to you for free. If they convert, great. We can talk about you renting the page from me. Or you can just advertise. You can advertise for $1,000 a month. You can rent it and tailor the content however you want to see fit to tailor your sales pitch for $5,000 a month. And if they make one single sale off it, I guarantee you they'll buy it, right? Because real estate agents know they have to always be getting users, new prospects. Lawyers to some same degree, right? So you give it to them for free and say, if you convert it, great. Plumbers, locksmiths, it's all like at bottom line, they're all very bottom line people. The car dealerships, they know sales, right? They know bottom line sales. How much will it cost? What will I make? Yes or no? They'll make a very quick decision. They don't mind a pushy sales call. You call a car dealership and say, hey, I've got 20 people looking for Hondas. Do you want them? They're going to say, yes. How much does it cost? Free. What's the catch? No catch. If it works, great. Just think about renting the page from me. I'll give you more. And then they call you and say, wow, 2 people bought Hondas. Let's talk about renting it. Great. Then they have no problem wheeling and dealing like that because they do that every day, right? They have no squeams about cold calling. They do it themselves. And it says, I have 5 years experience in Renault and now I'm going freelancer. Yeah. So, I mean, I know cold calling is like, can make people really stressful, and it can be fairly stressful to do a cold call. We have our sales masterclass in Underground SEO University that improves your cold calling technique to make it more of a warm call. It's a great cold call when you're like, listen, I'm not selling you anything. I've got 10 leads. I don't cut hair. I'm not a salon. Do you want these leads? They said they wanted a whole full fantasy dye. It says on your Facebook page, do fantasy colors. Do you want these people? They're going to go, yeah, of course I do. Great. If you book any of them, let me know. I'll send you more, and you can talk about renting the page, and then you get first crack at these clients. That's how it works, and that's the really nice cold call to make because it's, you're giving them something for free. It's the easiest of all cold calls to make, quite frankly. And if they say no, you say, okay, well, I'm going to call the next person on Google and do it. Someone here is going to take these sales. It's not a trick. Here's my references. Here's the page. Look at it yourself. It's not a trick. I made that. It's called Rank and Rent. It's a tried, tested, and true strategy in SEO. Has been since year 2000, since the very beginning. So, what's the pros and cons of that? Well, I mean, I don't know. You have 50 pages ranking on page one that are getting you $1,000 a month recurring revenue. Doesn't sound that bad to me. I mean, 50 grand a month. I mean, what? You have a problem with 50 grand a month? I mean, it's pretty good. You don't have a boss. You're your own boss. So you have to be very diligent, and you have to be very what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be diligent, and you have to apply yourself. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to play PlayStation today. You got to work, right? It's an 8-hour a day job too of building the site up. You're not making any money and have no promise of any money. You're paying for the SEO all out of your own pocket to start, to have the chance of cold calling people to get them to say yes. Now that will have terrified some people when they heard those words. Some people are like, actually, I could see that working. I've done cold calls. Maybe that'll work, and they might like the freedom of it. Because here's the thing: if any of the stuff fails that I said previously, here's number 4 is digital real estate, right? You sell the site. You go into flippa.com. You go into keyword discovery. You check mark and export all of the pages you're ranking for, and they say it makes 5 grand a month, 3 grand a month, 4 grand a month. You total it up, you put it to the end of the year, and you do their strategy, whatever it is. They have a standard formula for selling websites, and usually people get the money from Ahrefs or money from SEMrush, like flippa.com. All these places have a standard formula. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Just use their standard formula. Use the numbers from keyword discovery though, because they'll be higher, and say, look, this website is worth 100 grand based on the money you could make in a year, based on this tool and your standard formula. Here's the numbers. I'm not lying. Here's all the rankings. Here's my Google Analytics. Now here's a little tip. If you want to be a little sneaky, it's a little greasy, a little sneaky. This one is from Craig Campbell.
I hear you. I want to be like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll put it out there. Hypothetically speaking, some people on here, they completely inflate their numbers, right? They don't share Search Console and they don't share Ahrefs. They share their Google Analytics, which includes their paid traffic. They do a paid run to artificially inflate the numbers to make it look better, and then they sell the site there. If you're smart when you're buying a site, you either have Ahrefs paying for it through the nose and check their rankings in Ahrefs, because Ahrefs won't lie to what the rankings are. Or even better, you say, great, I'll buy it, add my email to Search Console so I can actually see what your rankings are. And if you know how to do SEO, and if you've been a member of Underground SEO University, you can see we're like cardiologists. When we look at that ranking line, we can start determining that's an irregular heartbeat. This site's going to fail, right? We can start predicting whether a site's going to fail based on the Search Console line of rankings and impressions. And we can diagnose a lot based just on that chart alone, right? It's actually quite amazing. It's quite interesting. It's super cool. It's fun to be able to look at it and go, yeah, this site's doing well, or nope, this site's doing bad. It's going to keep doing bad because of these ones. And then you won't have to buy it. Hopefully they don't ask for it if you're trying to cheat them. But hopefully if you're doing our methods here, you're going to be honestly ranking very, very well. Obviously if something's failed and the rankings got hit, and you're like, I don't want to bother with it anymore, you're trying to sell it off, you're going to have to decrease the price. But I don't know. One of my students in Underground SEO University, and I'm not lying, you can watch the interview from a few years ago. His name is Rene. He's in the Netherlands. He sold a site, I think it was a crypto site if I recall. He sold it for €500,000. €500,000 he sold it for.
I like that.
Yeah, it was an affiliate site, a crypto affiliate site, if I recall correctly. And he sold it for €500,000. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get out of this. It's like, because it's a full-time job. It's 8 hours a day, worrying about your SEO, making sure you're building new pages, always checking to see if there's problems. And you're resting on one site. It's like, it's a one propeller airplane, keeping it in the air. So what do? Well, you should really have 10 affiliate sites. You should have 10 on the way, 10 that are currently ranking, and 10 that were ranking, and there's something wrong with them. If you can fix them easy, great. If not, sell them, move on. That's how that life cycle works, right? Same with rank and rent. If let's say, oops, I did something a little too black hat, Google nabbed me, oops, oh well. Or oops, some major, Jaguar started selling car parts. I can't sell Jaguar parts anymore. Oops, without spending 50 grand on SEO, and I don't want to do that. So I'll just sell the site. Someone will buy it for 10 grand, 20 grand, and you just loop it like that. That's how big, huge SEO gurus like, again, Craig Campbell, and I say it that way because he's Scottish, so I say Craig Campbell. Um, that's what he does all the time is he flips sites. That's where I learned that trick, by the way. And
Thank you
yeah,
very much for sharing.
of course, I try to share all the money making tips, especially on this show. So yeah, I mean that's the way to do all of that. That's the best way to make that money in SEO. Um, there are kind of other side ways to do it. There's extra ways to make money in SEO. Number five is everything I said. Number five is everything I previously said. That's how you make the most money in SEO. And that's the best tip I can give you is that it's going to be some work, maybe 8-hour days, maybe 10-hour days, right? To have your own rank and rent sites and your own you're trying to do affiliate sites and rank and rent on the same site. So you're building up pages. You know, if you can do affiliate, you find one you can trust that's going to pay out. Great. You don't, you rank and rent it. It doesn't work, fine. If you don't, maybe you sell it and you apply for an in-house SEO job and you try to do this side hustle of getting customers in some order that, you know, whatever makes the most sense. You do all of these risk mitigating strategies. The more strategies you have, the more sticks in the fire, the more you're going to burn the sticks, I guess, or the more propellers you have on this airplane. One propeller can go out. Doesn't matter. Your airplane's still going fine, right? And then you build this all up. You build it into an agency because you did too many client stuff, and you quit the day job. Or the day job is great. They think you are so knowledgeable. This has happened to a number of my students in undergrad at this university. They started as the junior SEO. Whatever they were saying sounded like a wizard because they were just saying what we found in our testing. They moved them up to senior SEO. Then they moved them up to marketing manager. They moved them up to vice president or president. They bought the company. I'm not lying. This literally happened to a number, not one, a number of my students, right? So you might not think you're going to have a career in SEO. You could. It's possible. You can have a career in SEO if you want. The good news and the bad news is you can have a career in SEO if you want. I can help you get that. The good news is you get a career. The bad news is you have a career. It's work. You have to do things. And it can be rocky sometimes. If you're the kind of person who's like, I don't like this not knowing what's going on, maybe you should get into paid traffic then. Maybe you should get into learning how to do Google ads really well. People still pay for that, right? Doing Google ads really well. There's a textbook for that you can follow. Is it great money? No. Is Google kind to those people? No. Is the Google tax really high? Yes. Does it increase every year? Yes. Do they make you buy more and more? Do they grind you there? Yes, they grind you hard there. They grift you hard there, right? The bids go up, and you need to bid more than their suggested amount to actually get any sales. And if don't ever get Google to do your Google ads ever, because they will choose every keyword under the sun. If you want to rank for red apples, they'll bid on red and they'll bid on apples, right? Like they'll bid on words that have nothing to do with you to suck money out of your bank account as fast as possible. So you have to do your own Google ads. And I could do a show on Google ads one time as well to get into the nitty gritty of how to do that, which you can be doing piecemeal with all of this at the same time, by the way. However, I might use Insta or Pinterest or TikTok ads. Insta would make you more money because that's usually 35-year-old people who have money. TikTok tends to skew to people who don't have money, unless you're in beauty or entertainment. And then boomers, it's all Facebook, right? Boomers are all older Gen X than me, and boomers are all using Facebook. And Facebook ads are a really useful tool and powerful there as well. That traffic will help you rank. Google ads traffic will not. They discount it on purpose. But Facebook traffic will help you rank. Insta will help you rank. Pinterest will help you rank. TikTok will help you rank. Pinterest also gets you links when you buy ads. So that's another great pro tip. It used to. Last year, I saw Pinterest in the backlinks of this person. I'm like, how are they getting backlinks? And it was ads they were buying. It was making backlink pages that you can crawl. So can you imagine what it did to have a backlink from Pinterest for the site? It did pretty good things. So again, Uh, I'm not saying you should buy backlinks, but buying Pinterest ads, if your demo is there, could really help. So that's it, guys. That's spot 1 to 5. That's number 1 to 5 of how to make the most money with SEO. I think it's probably one of the most comprehensive summaries, and it's definitely up to date for 2025. Now, as promised, and Anna, thanks for hanging in there. Uh, whatever questions you have, Anna, please go ahead and turn your mic on and go ahead and ask them. I'm also going to mention to the folks here on YouTube who are watching, if you guys have any questions on the YouTube, please let me know as well. Let's get deeper into it if you want to get deeper into it. You can also turn your mic on if you want. You don't have to type it if you want.
I was writing just in case you were writing something,
Yep, yep.
something.
No problem. Please.
I want to ask you, what do you think about omni search optimization? This is a new term that I am hearing very.
So Omni Search optimization. So Anna, yeah, so you broke up there for a second. So Omni Search Optimization is omni-channel SEO. It says here it's a modern SEO strategy that focuses on optimizing a brand's visibility across various online channels, including traditional search engines, social media, AI tools, and voice assistants, to provide a seamless and consistent experience for users wherever they search. Yeah. So that's what I thought it was, but I just want to check to make sure. I didn't hear you finish your question, but I'll preempt probably what you're asking. What do I think about that? So again, this is what I said in the beginning. Yes, having a social media presence is required, right? So social media marketing is required. Social media updating is required. It's a strong part of what we call reference rank, which is one major of the off-page signals that you need to build. It's a primary way of showing Google you're a real business. You know what you're talking about, assuming you say the right things in your post. You post on a regular basis. You have signals there. You have likes, you have watches, you have quality signals on these tertiary third parties. And then it's also something called entity vector, right? The entities you're talking about that you want to rank for, you're also on your site, are also talked about on your social media, in your group, and by you specifically. Google will watch all that. Just like they used to have the link graph, they have a social graph. And the social graph is who is talking about what. And so you want to be who is talking about what. The biggest who is the most talking about what, in the way the who's are supposed to be talking about what, if that made any
Mm,
sense at all. You have to talk
yeah.
about it like an expert. You can't talk about it like an amateur. You can't quote the price at $20 when all the experts say it's 100, right?
Mm,
For example, because they will extract all that knowledge and put it in the KG. The KG is what Google calls the knowledge graph. The knowledge graph is real. It is not, in many ways, it's the entirety of SEO, the knowledge graph. That's all it is. All Google is an artificial intelligence which has a knowledge graph database, and entering searches into the search bar is just like back in the Linux days, in Linux or in the command console for Mac, right? Which is a BSD variation, but like Linux, it's a Unix variation. Or back in the DOS days, like putting a command. You are using text commands to navigate the nodes of the knowledge graph. That's all you're doing. Google could very easily put out a three-dimensional way of navigating it, and you would click on nodes. You'd click on apples, you'd click on red apples, you'd click on Josh's red apple farm, right? You could do it that way too, and that's all it is. It's all it is.
My last question, because I've been burning you in all the conversations, so I want to ask you if you think it's possible to, with the keyword research that I will be doing in your platform, it's possible to use this information to rank in social media. You think is
Hmm.
even possible? You don't know.
The short answer is no. Scientifically speaking, I don't know because I've never tested it, and
Yeah,
that's not what the
okay.
AI was engineered for.
Yeah.
However, there will be a high statistical overlap of what people talk about on Google and what people talk about in social media.
Mhm.
The social media apps are partly used by Google. YouTube is made by Google, and it's the largest social media search engine that exists. It's the second biggest search engine in the world. You know what the biggest search engine after Google is? It's not Bing, it's YouTube, by far,
Oh,
by
I
another orders
didn't
of
know.
magnitude. Yeah, YouTube is the
Oh my
second
God.
biggest search engine. So that's why people are like, how come you don't have a test for Bing yet? Because when people start using it, I'll test it. Nobody uses it. It's not worth my time. Nobody uses it. Like virtually nobody uses it compared to YouTube, which is the second biggest search engine, which I have tested, and we do have the ranking factors for
Mm.
YouTube. I don't really do them on my channel. I'm too lazy, but I have the ranking factors for them. And then finally, Google still by far is the biggest search engine that exists. And Perplexity just uses Google anyway. But so Perplexity wins the search wars. If you're ranking in Google, you're already ranking in Perplexity.
Mm.
But to finish answering your first question, so again, because Google is the main market share, I wouldn't bother trying to optimize for ChatGPT and all these other things. This is just the shiny new object. Now, if that's what people will only pay you for, then fine, do it, right? There's a synchronicity between what people want to pay for and what you want to do and what's of value, and you've got to kind of meet in the middle.
Mm.
But and it could be a good job to be a social media manager for somebody and manage their social media and try to generate those signals for them. But
Mm.
it's kind of a second job. It's not really SEO. SEO is really too specific. But could you use SEO Copilot to do some research and build content for social media that would help? For sure, for sure.
Mm.
Because it's going to have all the entities that are AI analyzed that are important for that topic by the top level knowledge graph producer, which is Google, and then anyone else's knowledge graph, Bing's knowledge graph, Facebook's knowledge graph, TikTok's knowledge graph, which they all have approximate of, but not as good as Google.
Mm.
It's probably going to be checking check marks for all of them as well.
Mm.
I can't guarantee any results, but I bet you it would work well, and it's going to give you a good understanding of the query space, a good understanding of the query interpretation, what people actually care about when they start when they're thinking about kitchen renos in Granite Bay, California, and they're on social media looking for this. It's my tool is going to tell you what they care about, really, what it costs, who does it, where to get it. That's going to help you talk about those things and be those people, probably.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh. Thank you very much.
No problem. It's my pleasure. All right. Well, I want to thank Anna for being here. It's very nice to have another voice other than just my voice droning on all the time. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best in your internet marketing journeys. But for anyone else who wants to email me, please, by all means, if you have any SEO questions, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com, and I would be more than happy to help you out. As I mentioned previously, I do have coupons. Email me at that address, and I'll be able to give them to you. And Anna, you make sure you email me. I'll get them to you as
All right.
well.
I
I
will.
have I have huge discounts, even up to like 100% off discounts if you bundle them Underground University and SEO Copilot together at a certain price point to try to make it as the barrier of entry, that seed cash I was talking about, to try to make that as easy on you guys as possible, where I can still eat and drink my protein shakes and gain more gray hairs from trying to wrestle with Google. So I just want to make sure there's any questions here on the YouTubes as well. All right, great, fantastic. No one had any questions there. Great. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you again, Anna, for joining. And we'll see you all next time. Good luck in the SERPs. And you can make a ton of money in 2025 with SEO. I hope you guys are the first.